This next sacrifice is one of sacrifice. Rather, this next story is one of sacrifice, of waiting and a sacred promise. That promise took 70 years, but today our Kevin Reese had the honor of being present as it was fulfilled and a hero returned to North Texas.
Yellow ribbons are in nearly every tree in Judith Bingham's yard in Fredericksburg, Texas. Ribbons she's been replacing for a very long time.
74 years. I was determined to find him, and I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
She was 4 years old when Kenneth Dale Ferris, her ruggedly handsome jokester of a big brother, left their farm in the Texas Panhandle to serve in World War II.
He'd comb his hair back, you know, and he'd look at himself, and then he'd say, "Ah, you handsome devil, you." And I never will forget that.
But those fond memories would darken 2 years later. Wounded in a firefight in a German forest in 1944, he disappeared on his way to get help and became one of the more than 73,000 American soldiers in World War II who were never found and never came home.
When the war started, my mother had dark hair, and when it ended, she was white-headed. It's true. Every time she talked about Dale, she cried. Every time.
But when she became a teenager, Judith Bingham made her mom a promise. She would find Dale. She would bring him home.
It hurt. And I hated seeing her hurt.
And that's what made a 15-year-old girl make a promise.
That's right. I said I'd do it. And I never forgot that I told her I'd do it.
She searched military records. She began writing a book about her big brother. She even visited the forest where he disappeared. Her mom died at 93, not knowing what happened to her son. But Judith kept searching, finding nothing, until a few years ago when she and her son submitted DNA to a military database.
Whose DNA matched your brother?
All of us.
His remains had been found all the way back in 1946, but couldn't be identified until technology matched his little sister's DNA.
It's the most thrilling moment of my life. I cannot tell you what that means to me, to have promised that to my mother and followed through.
It seems like this was the most important thing in your life.
It was and is.
And all the emotions of those 74 years of searching were evident as Judith and her family stood on the tarmac at DFW Airport on Friday afternoon. Her brother in a flag-draped casket reached Texas for the first time since he left as a 19-year-old Army private. And Monday, they will all gather again at DFW National Cemetery, where he will be buried with full military honors.
I want so bad to just say, "Dale, you're home," and have him hear me.
Maybe he already has.
Maybe.
Back in Fredericksburg, Judith Bingham added a welcome home banner over her driveway. More proof that she kept her promise to her late mother.
But I said I would bring him home to Texas, and he's home.
Feels good to have kept that promise even though it took 50+ years.
Yes, it does.
Because no matter her age, she will always be the little sister who just wanted her big brother to come home. Kevin Reese, Channel 8 News.